tells quite the story.
Last time I was here, you were telling me about how you got shot.
Yeah.
Tell him that story.
Which time?
This influential Portland psychologist says he was shot twice in the line of duty. But now he admits to our Dan Tilken it was all a lie. His name is Dr. Frank Colistro, and he was one of only 5 psychologists the Oregon Board of Parole uses to evaluate inmates to help determine if they're ready to be released from prison.
He's weighed in on countless cases, including some very high-profile murders and rapes. But in a KOIN 6 investigation, Dan Tilken reveals tonight Colistro's tale about being wounded on the job is entirely made up.
I actually treat inmates for prison-related PTSD.
In April, I interviewed Dr. Frank Colistro about the likely psychological makeup of the soldier who went on a deadly shooting spree at Fort Hood, Texas, after suffering post-traumatic stress disorder. I also asked Colistro to tell my photographer a story that Colistro once told me off camera.
Last time I was here, you were telling me about how you got shot.
Yeah.
Tell him that story.
Which time?
Yeah.
God. Got the cell phone shot out of my hand. That hurt. Now I still have to buy large and extra large pairs of gloves because, it never totally healed right. Shot in the butt. Yeah, it's kind of an occupational hazard.
Colistro explained he was shot on 2 different occasions while a member of hostage negotiation teams. Colistro claimed he was trying to talk armed men out of their homes.
How long did it take to heal?
I've been really lucky. In fact, the butt one was an AK, so it was a steel penetrator bullet. If you're going to get shot, that's what you want to get shot with, because they don't even slow down. And if they don't hit anything vital, it's just in and out, boom. And it cauterized the wound. It's just like, I didn't even go to the hospital, I went home.
But Colistro's story never made sense to me. Getting shot by an AK-47 certainly would require a trip to the hospital. According to people in law enforcement I asked to evaluate Colistro's story. Those police and lawyers also told me they certainly would have heard if Colistro had been shot during a police standoff. I checked with the Oregon State Police. They told me a search of our files cannot confirm this case.
It's pretty easy to talk down somebody who's rational but just upset. But you throw in drugs, stuff like that, you don't know what they're going to do.
I kept digging because of Colistro's influential position with the Oregon Board of Parole. He's one of just 5 psychologists under contract to evaluate inmates, to tell the parole board whether they are still a danger to society. One of the most high-profile inmates Colistro has evaluated is Richard Gilmore. He is known as the jogger rapist for his 9 serial attacks on women in Portland and Gresham. It is Colistro who, according to court documents, once advised the parole board Mr. Gilmore is no longer a danger to the health and safety of others, after previously saying Gilmore was a danger.
Hey, Frank, it's Dan Tilken, Channel 6. How are you?
The time came to get answers only Colistro could provide after I ran into dead ends trying to confirm his story.
Remember when you told me the stories about the 2 times you had been shot?
At first he told me he didn't want to get into it, that the shootings happened long ago and far away.
I need to figure out what the truth is, though. It did not happen? Okay. Why would you tell me the stories?
I guess I've got a big ego. I guess when I'm off the air, when I'm casual, I embellish my life.
Colistro wanted to explain on camera that his storytelling is just that, storytelling, nothing more, not meant for a wide audience.
About 2 years ago, you told me the story to begin with, and then fast forward 2 years to a few months ago, it was the same story.
Probably.
I got the idea that you've been telling lots of people that story.
Again, not on record, when we're casually talking, could be.
Do you think that hurts your credibility?
No.
How come?
Again, I'm differentiating between what we're doing right now which is a formal thing. I'm speaking to you as a professional, a licensed professional, versus are the three of us going to go out for lunch afterward? It's a different context.
Colistro tells me he's never told the stories of being shot in a professional setting, such as at a conference. He says the most important point, he says he has never lied under oath.
If you were a patient of yourself, would you diagnose yourself with a character disorder, or what would you just diagnose yourself as?
I would diagnose myself as an average guy who does what average guys do. I'm not saying it's necessarily okay, but it is human nature.
Do you think you are fit to have a contract still with the parole board to evaluate inmates?
Yes.
How come?
Because, again, I can differentiate between casual conversation among people not in a professional setting.
Now the parole board will investigate. Dan Tilkin, KOIN 6 News.
More now on the parole board's reaction. Dan spoke with the executive director. She's watching our story tonight, and the director tells us we will have to review the information and do some investigation on our own. She says, I can't give you any indication what we would do at this point. So we will follow this story and let you know what the parole board decides. If you have a story you want us to investigate and look into, call the tip line, the number on your screen, 503-464-0861, or email it to report it@koin.com.